This 26 Sports and CCTV high school basketball presentation is presented by Cadillac Casting Incorporated.
And welcome back to Cadillac High School. Jay Simon alongside Ryan Biller, joined as well by Broden. Happy birthday, Broden, the newly minted 10-year-old who enjoyed tonight's contest, and it was a good one. Came right down to the wire as the Cadillac Vikings come away with a 36-34 win over the Traverse City West Titans to pick up their second victory on the season and in Big North basketball. Titans fall to 3-13 on the year, 2-6 in Big North play. And Ryan, we figured that this was going to be a defensive battle. We figured both teams would look to press, would look to force turnovers. We were shocked when the Vikings came out in a zone, but it really gave West fits all night long.
Yeah, and I really think the first half, that was probably the story of the first half, is that TC West was a little surprised by that, wasn't ready to shoot the ball. It's probably something they weren't practiced up on. And the Vikings were able to, in the first half, be up 17-14 going into halftime. And really, when you're talking about a two-point game at the end of the game, those points helped that first half.
And the Titans came out pretty strong in that third quarter, looked for all the world like they might be able to start pulling away, had a 3-point lead at one point, thought they were going to have a fourth. That free throw rattled in and out, but Vikings hung in there, came back, and largely came back thanks to Callie Polis, who notched 2 triples in that fourth quarter, both of them on quick trigger pulls. I mean, one of those out of the timeout was, a catch, turn, shoot type shot, and it really kept them in that. And then as it went down to the wire, for the Titans, it was a matter of just not being able to knock down free throws when they needed them in that last quarter.
Correct, yeah, and they just didn't have enough balls going to basket down the stretch for them. There was a point, as you said there, I think, between Boher and Burkett, that they were really forcing turnovers, and Boher, especially with the length and her blocking shots, impressed me tonight. And it really kept the Titans in the game. But Kaylee Polis, I think, shot the ball with such confidence tonight. And the Vikings really needed that, I think, offensively to pull it out. And as I said earlier, they needed somebody to step up, and she did it. And Makeda Bryant being in the right place at the right time down the stretch helps as well.
Run down the scoring for you. You mentioned Becca Borer, the junior who has paced the Titans all year long, averaging a double-double. She does it again. 18 points. We're certain she had double figures in rebounds, and she probably had somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 7 blocks on the night, as her length really bothered the Vikings on the interior. Tried to bring them back on her own. She had 8 points in the fourth quarter alone, 12 in the second half, as the Titans come up just short. 5 points for Sierra Perquette, and 4 points apiece. Darcy Danzer and Paige Carlson. Tacey Luz with a single bucket, and KK Roman with a free throw to round out the scoring for the Titans, who go 6 of 17 from the line, including 2 of 7 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Coach Bowman's probably going to talk to them a little bit about those opportunities. I know Perquette made a lot of good plays tonight, and she really looked for her teammates. Had some good passes, a good assist, struggled from the free throw line, and that hurt down the stretch. But the free throw line is where you can win and lose games, and games like this definitely is going to be where that can be circled.
Meanwhile, for the Vikings, as you mentioned, Kaylee Polis paced them with 14 points. She had 3 triples in the game, and was very key for them down the stretch. Hannah Emmington finishes with 8 points. Allie McAllister finishes with 6. McKenna Bryant, the sophomore, with 4, and a bucket apiece for Chloe Fessler and Emmeline Rosenberg to round it out for the Vikings, who were just 1 of 5 from the line, but as you mentioned, probably took more jump shots and weren't as aggressive down low as the Titans were.
Correct. Yeah, and that's a when you look at a 1 of 5 from the free throw line as a team, that means you're not getting to the free throw line very much at all, and that means your style of play is more passive. And we were lucky tonight with Cadillac. Was lucky that Kaylee was knocking down some shots. I think there were some unsung heroes tonight also with the Vikings. Katie Bartman, I thought, was extremely active with her hands. Had a lot of tips and other opportunities, as well as Emmington and McKenna Bryant. So there was a lot of things that don't go into stats that make a team and go into a win. And definitely the Vikings needed every person off the bench as well as helping out.
Well, we said in the pregame, at this point in the season, especially with the records these two teams are sporting, it's all about trying to get yourself ready for the postseason. looked like these two teams did some very good things defensively that are going to set them up for districts.
Oh, absolutely. You know, they don't have too many heavily loaded offensive, powerful scores on each of the teams, and so they're going to rely on team defense. Both of these teams down the stretch, and both coaches will probably tweak some things in the next couple of weeks here and there. Maybe throw a wrinkle or two in, like the 2-3 zone Coach Johns tonight played, and you know, it makes a difference down the stretch who you're playing too. So they already have their draws, and they're prepared for them. But it's always, in this day and age of media coverage and taping and video, there's going to always be something in the practice down the stretch that each coach is probably going to have to work on.
I think all coaches call it tape.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter when
tape.
it's on. It's
right.
okay. It can be digital. They still call it tape. Well, that's going to do it for us. We need to get Broden's take on this. What did you think of tonight's game?
Tonight's game was amazing. The Vikings had a good offense and defense, and also the Titans also had a good defense and offense. So it was a good game.
Did you think that 3 was going to go in at the end from Perquette?
Definitely.
I did too. I thought for sure. I was about to make my wild, crazy. Who's your favorite play-by-play guy?
I honestly don't have
Gus
one.
Johnson. I was going to do my best Gus Johnson imitation. All right. No, he doesn't even know who Gus Johnson is. We want to make sure we thank CCI, Cadillac Casting Incorporated, our title sponsor, for their support of these broadcasts here on My News 26, as well as Cadillac Tire, Pizza Plus, and Napa Auto Parts, with locations in Cadillac, Lake City, and Big Rapids. For the hardest working crew in television, Connor Nelson, Sophie Hamaker, and Wyatt Van Dynen. For our director, Heather Stilson. For Ryan Biller. For Broden, I'm Jay Simon. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. We'll see you next time here on My News 26 and CCTV. Good night.